Hey, before we start with the main video, I would like to thank you the following companies for their support. They support me through the YouTube membership program that I created for companies who care about software testing and are active in supporting the testing community. Thank you once again. If you want to learn more about the supporters, check the video description down below to find the links to their products. If you miss your logo on this page, follow the QR code or send me an email. Happy testing, and now back to the main video. Hey YouTube, welcome back to my YouTube channel Software Testing. It's me, Daniel here. Happy that you're here today in watching my latest episode. And it's been a while since I am answering your personal community question. And a couple of weeks or actually a month ago, Ujjwal Kumar Singh wrote me an email with his video messages. So let's have a look at his questions and his context, where the questions are coming from, and then I'm trying to answer the questions for you.
Hi Daniel, I'm Ujjwal Kumar Singh, and my question for you is that for a long time we have been relying on HDLC model for software development, and in that we follow the traditional testing approach for deciding the quality of product. That is, if the test is passed, then the quality is good, and if the test is failed, then the quality is bad. However, sometimes all the test cases are passed and automation script also runs successfully. Still, we get the vibe that something is off, something is not okay. So my question for you is based on same, that have you ever come across a scenario where for you everything in the testing process runs smoothly, still you feel that something is not okay, and if so, how did you handle that situation? How did you prove that to your team and stakeholders? And with this, my second question is that since the software development is getting complex day by day, so do you think with the traditional testing approach we are missing something in deciding the quality of the product?
Okay, thanks first of all for the video and for being brave enough to show your face in front of my community. It wasn't easy for me to understand the question up front, so I had to watch the video multiple times, but here is the questions that I got from your video. So the questions that you gave me was like, your software testing process runs smoothly, but you have still the feeling that something isn't working well in the product. And to be honest, I know exactly what you meant with that. The other question was like, how do you handle the situation? And how do you prove it to your team? And last but not least, sometimes you have the feeling, and I can also see myself here as well, are we missing something with our traditional testing approach? So we have not only one question, we have, what is it? 1, 2, 3 questions, but that's okay. I'm happy to answer all of them for you. I prepared some responses because sometimes it's also hard, to keep all the questions in mind. So to answer the first question, basically that you were raising was, your software testing process runs smoothly, but you still have the feeling that something isn't well working in the product. And to be honest, I have been there too. I remember a lot of times when I was working in a mobile testing environment where I was like testing the functionality, the requirements, acceptance criteria, but sometimes I had the feeling like something isn't right. And to answer that question, basically, it's the classic intuition moment of a tester, right? It's when we're using the product, it feels unnatural, and to be honest, you have to take these feelings seriously, because when tests are green but you feel uneasy, I always ask myself, like, are there any gaps that I missed in asking the right questions? Is there a gap in my test cases or test exploratory testing that I have done? Is there any complex or new code that you don't fully trust? So for example, you sit in an office environment and you listen to developers talking about like, oh my God, it's so hard, it's such a tough challenge to code. I implemented a workaround, stuff like that. Ooh, you have already this intuition, right? Or user flows. We never actually exercised end to end, for example. So last minute changes from the product management side that was sneaked into a user story, and you did not have the time to think it through and stuff like that. So this all gives us the feeling that something isn't right. And to be honest, the most obvious ones, if we have usually that feeling that something doesn't run smoothly, is non-functional requirements. I mean, we have usability, accessibility, load and performance testing requirements are usually like implicit requirements that are not really like baked into user stories. And we have to keep them up to present them to product, to raise the questions in that aspect. And of course, these are aspects that can lead to that feeling, right? So what I would do in to answer your question basically is to try to write down your feelings, your the things that you're noticing while you do your scripted testing or while you're doing your exploratory testing, stuff like that. Write it down, make screenshots, make screen videos, and do pair testing with developers, with a product manager, and share your feelings with your team and make it transparent. And then you could see like if they share the same feeling, or you talk about risks that might that come up with that feelings that you have or that intuitions. So it's something that you could add on top of it, right? So really make your feelings transparent, bring them to the table, and then you have enough time to discuss them and to see what you can do actually. And sometimes we are overreacting. That's also something that I have seen in my career as well. So because we try to tend, okay, we need to test more. We need to have it fixed because that's the only bug that we cannot go live with and stuff like that. So it's easy to overreact. So really keep calm, share your feelings, and then move on and see what's going to happen, right? But the most important thing is to make it transparent, to be honest, yeah? I hope that answers the first question. The next question is basically, how do you handle the situation? I mean, I already gave some explanations on that side, but you could go to the team and give some guidance like, okay, I know our automated tests pass, for example, but I tried doing X and Z and I tried to click here and tap here, and then I found this workaround and it's slow and unexpected. Let me show it to you. So to propose, like as I said before, propose a mob testing session, propose a team testing session, for example, stuff like that. Or you could do exploratory testing together with a team, which is similar to the approaches that I meant before, stuff like that, right? So this is something that you can really bring to the table to handle the situation. But as I answered before, make it transparent, the situation, then see how others might react. If they share the same feeling, maybe they're just afraid of sharing the same feeling that you have, but you are the brave person in the team on sharing that feeling, right? So this is really important. Make it transparent. And then what I said before, talk about risks. What is the risk? What is the critical part, or is there a critical part in the fact we are going live with your feeling, live in terms of the products going live, and you have strong feelings about the product? What might be the root cause, or what might be the highest risks that we can see in our product? And if you say, okay, it's like your feeling is some deep down in the settings where not too many users are going to, it's okay to make transparent, but that you can live with it in case there's something going on, because it's not the most risky part of your application. Yeah. Okay, and then the last question that you raised basically was, are we missing something with traditional testing approach? And to be honest, short answer is yes. We are always missing stuff because testing is never complete. We could always do more testing. We could always add more testing techniques, more shift left testing, exploratory testing, using different heuristics and oracles in order to test more and more efficient in our product. But well, we all know, as I said before, we don't have never enough time for testing. So here are the things that you could add on top of your traditional testing approach, whatever that means for you. So for example, you could bring real user behavior to the table. You could gather some user insights, like how is your product used. Use your KPI analytics data, for example, to see like what are the click path of your users. And then based on that knowledge that you have, you can do like more exploratory testing, for example, and stuff like that. Or you can write more automated scripts for on that journeys, for example, to add something on top of the traditional testing approach, right? You could think about edge cases more often on a daily basis to see like, okay, what might be users doing in production? Are they acting weird? Are they acting different? Is this something that we haven't talked about? Things that, so really think from an edge case point of view. Then also a low-hanging fruit is talk more about non-functional requirements, because usually these requirements are usually not baked into the traditional software development lifecycle, not usually part of the requirements analysis phase and stuff like that. So really talk about accessibility, load performance, security, and bring those topics to the table. And even risks, risk mitigation. Use risk storming, for example, in order to talk about risks within your development team, to make those risks transparent. That might give you more guidance beyond the traditional testing approach, right? So that's important. And then depending on your product, is it, for example, a mobile product or a web-based product or a desktop application, depending on the environment, try to change the environment that you're using your product. For example, when I was doing mobile testing, I usually went out of the office and we're doing some in the wild testing, right? So I was using the product that I was testing in different scenarios, different lighting setups, different environments, different conditions, whatever is affecting your product or might affect your product. And this goes beyond the traditional testing approach, right? And as I said, we are always missing something. It's always a way of how we handle these different situations and how we talk about risk and mitigate risk. And this is also what I recommend you to do, to really think about risks, what can go wrong, what are the implications in case we're going live with a broken product. And this will also help you to, in order to calm down, have a more simpler and easier life, so to say, as a software tester. And that also helps you to guide the team in terms of quality mindset and how to establish a quality thinking mindset. Yeah. I hope that answers all of your questions. If not, let me know down below in the comments. Also, what would your answers be for Ujjwal's questions? Would love to hear from you. How would you handle this situation? Did you ever had those strange feelings in your team, in your product, in the latest test cycle? Let me know down below in the comments. Also, if you would like to know more about Ujjwal's work, I also added his website to the video description to follow his work, his contribution also to the community. And with that, we're already done for today. If you would like to see your face, your voice on my YouTube channel, be brave enough and send me your video with your personal question, your problem, your challenge that you might have right now. And I'm happy to answer these questions. And thanks for coming by. See you next time. Bye bye.